Hello, this is Vladimir. Welcome to another video. Recently, I've had more questions about how to learn a language from scratch, and people have been asking me to provide very detailed steps on how to do that or how I do that. Right up front, I have to tell you that there is no such thing. I mean, there is no five-step guide to learning languages successfully, or at least I personally think so, because it's a very complex, complicated, and individual thing. So that means that you can't put it into five simple steps, and everyone learns in a different way. So these five steps would not work for maybe the next person in line. And but I'm going to try to tell you what I usually do when I learn languages and how I start learning them. So I think for me, it really depends whether the language is a difficult one or an easy one. If we take an easy language, say for me Serbian, because my native language is Slovak, so learning Serbian is relatively easy for me. I would just really try to do everything to start speaking the language as fast as I can. Sounds very logical and easy, but people get kind of lost in the language learning process and they lose focus and they don't know that actually this is the main goal, to start speaking as fast as you can and to start practicing the language as fast as you can. So what I would do is I would try to understand as much of the language that would be necessary for me to start speaking, to have enough vocabulary to do that, to understand enough grammar to do that, and to be able to understand what people are telling me during the communication. So what I would do in order to achieve this, I would buy maybe a detective story, something that would keep me interested, and I would read it with the dictionary and treat it like a riddle, really like something that I need to figure out, rather than reading about the rules and have them presented to me on a plate. I think it's really much more fun, and the information sticks much better when you treat it like that, when you really try to sort of come up and sort of decipher what the whole language is about. I would do the same thing with listening. So I would listen to a lot of native speakers, preferably vloggers. I really like to listen to vloggers. I mentioned that in an earlier video. The reason for that is that vloggers, they talk in first person and they talk about where they've been, what they have been doing, what they think about this and that from their perspective. And that is exactly what you need to know how to say. I've been there, I do this, I think this and that about this and that. So I listen to vloggers with a dictionary. I pause and rewind every time I come across a word that I don't understand, try to look it up in a dictionary, and then just play and repeat and repeat and repeat until I understand it. And the main focus of all of this is to have enough basis to start talking to someone. Now, maybe if you're a shy person, you would want to first talk to yourself and then maybe talk to someone else. What I want to stress again, what I mentioned in the beginning, is that your mind and everything that you're doing should lead to and be focused on practicing. So that is communication and speaking. It's like literally like learning how to play the guitar, for instance. And you can read about the theory, you can listen to a lot of music, but you need to play the guitar, practice playing every day to be better and better and better in it. It's the same thing with language learning. A lot of people lose focus. A lot of people sort of are lost in all the things that you can do while you're learning a language. That is, I don't know, learning vocabulary, reading about the grammar, reading books, but they don't talk that much. They don't practice speaking that much. And while reading is all right, learning vocabulary is all right, reading about grammar is all right, but you can't spend the majority of your time doing that. You have to spend the majority of your time and focus practicing how to speak. And I would do that as often as possible. So if I have a friend or several friends who are willing to have some sort of a language exchange, let's say I was speaking about Serbian, so let's say English, Serbian, and if they're willing to do that every day for 1 hour, perfect. Yeah, and I would try to do that. So that would be what I do when I learn simple languages from scratch. Now, when it comes to difficult languages, the general approach is the same, I think, because it's the exact same thing that I'm trying to achieve. I'm trying to practice, trying to get into a situation where I can practice speaking as fast as I can. The problem is that difficult languages make this very, very hard. It's very hard to get off the ground, especially with languages like Chinese, for instance. It's very, very, very hard to get off the ground and start speaking Chinese. So the whole process of building that basis is going to take a lot of time. And therefore, with languages like that, it's impossible when you're a beginner to pick up a book in Chinese with the aim of sort of deciphering the language and learning how to and understanding it and learning how to speak based on that. It's just not going to happen. So some tips that I could give you for difficult languages on how to get faster to the point where you can actually learn the language by using it and speaking and practicing. Remove all the possible obstacles that are in the way. Like for instance, with Chinese characters are a huge obstacle. You don't need to learn Chinese characters when you're a beginner. You don't need to learn them 1 year, 2 years into your studies if you don't want to, because if your aim is to be able to speak, Chinese characters are not important. Same goes for learning how to write Chinese characters and so on. There are other ways of dealing with that. So that was it. That was just a general approach, bits and pieces of information here and there. A very general one. There are probably going to be more videos down the line that will sort of connect to this one about how to learn a language from scratch, because really it's a pretty complex topic and I don't think I've covered not even 5% of it, and that's only the way I learn. This is definitely not something that will be suitable for everyone. Try to give you some concrete tips as well. Hopefully it wasn't too vague. And I'll try to make more videos like this in the future. So thank you very much for watching. If you like the video, like, subscribe, share, and I will see you in the next videos. Bye-bye.